So I gotta pull this cam gear off. Some people say you could put it in a press. I don't have a press here. I'd be a little concerned with pressing it off because it's obviously it's kind of weaker on the outside here, and if you get a lot of pressure on it, you can bend it, I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know how tight that is on there, but so the gear pullers that they have they got little hooks on them. They go on the face, and then it hooks in behind here on the edges of these holes. Because of this thrust plate, I don't think I can really put a 3-jaw puller on there, just because it's going to end up pulling on the plate and you can't get behind the plate, and it takes up a considerable amount. It's like you just can't get around it. So I'm going to attempt to make a puller for this. I've seen a couple of different ones. A few different designs and stuff, and some cheaper ones, so I figured I might be able to make one. So I got this 3-jaw puller that's all bent up. I've had it for a while, just kind of as like parts if you need it. So I made a drawing of the holes. So I think what I can do is I'm going to cut this off and get this out, and I'm going to use this as so it's already for three sections, so it's already even. And I'm just going to kind of orient it in there and hope it fits. Once I cut this off, I'll know I can get closer to it. And then I'll probably weld a nut or something on here sideways, and then I can take these jaws and just kind of bolt them on straight. So if I put a nut like that, I can bolt the jaws on kind of sideways instead of the normal pulling direction, and hope it'll grab it. I mean, we'll see what happens. If nothing else, it's just a little bit of a waste of my time, because I mean, this ain't really good anyway. So I'm gonna cut this off and see if this matches up to this pattern. Alright, so this lines up pretty good. It's a little long, so what I need to do is figure out a way to attach this sideways so I can get in the groove there and fix it to this plate. I guess I could probably weld on a nut or something right there, and then just put the bolt through right into the nut. Or I might be able to use a little piece of angle iron or something to kind of bolt to the bracket, and then bolt this to the piece of angle iron. But we'll figure out something. Alright, so what I did was I set this about where I need it to be, and then I found my center. I went off the inside of these lines to find my center. So then I measured over from the center to about where I wanted the outside of the puller to be, where this would bolt into, and I got 39.5 millimeters. So I came over here to this piece of plate, because I'm not going to use this guy, because it's going to be a little more complicated to use this, and I don't know how well it's going to pull. So I'm going to use this solid piece of scrap here, and I'm just going to drill the sides and tap it, and put the bolts through this into this plate. So what I did was I got me a center here. I took this, and then I marked my outside corners here of the 3 legs. So I got basically a centered, not a centered, but a uniform 3-jaw thing, so I didn't have to do any measuring. So I just measured that, traced it out, and then it came off the center, and I went out to each of the arms here, the 39.5 millimeters. So I'll cut this triangle out, and then I'll cut these ends off and try to get them squarish. So so these will bolt on to the side right there, and kind of want to keep them so they're straight in line, not like kind of off to the side. So yeah, so I'm gonna do with that. And then this is pretty thick stuff. So like I say, I'll just drill it and tap it for whatever size hole this is, and then I'll have my jaws, so we can just slip it in and turn it, and then I'll have to drill and tap a center here for the forcing screw. I will probably just use some bolts. I don't exactly know which size. I might just use a 1/2 inch bolt or whatever size tap I have for the bigger ones that won't conflict with the bolts coming in here on the ends. And that's how I'm gonna do that. Alright, so I'm gonna cut this thing out using this metal cutting saw. Makes a pretty good cut, pretty straight, and it's fairly quick. So I'll try this out. cut with the angle grinder as I would with that, but let's say you can't see it when you're going into it because it's all blocked. So one way, because I got to cut this piece off here, so one way that I'm doing it, I measured off the square edge. This is the one I had to trim, so it's a little shorter. So I measured off the square edge here, and you get your straight line. So over here, on the one I had to cut, I just slid it along the straight edge and scored it. And I did the same thing up the back to get my other dimension. Nice and warm now, so you're getting all right cut. I don't like using the grinder because it doesn't take a lot to get off, and then it kind of wears away at the sides as you're cutting. Very close. I got off a little bit there, so I gotta. I'm more likely to be alright for what I'm doing, but I'd rather get it as close as I can. So I kind of walked off a little bit. Alright, so that's that. Next thing I do, drill a hole through here, a hole through here, here, and here. I'm probably going to use, I think, 7/16 bolts, which is just a little bit bigger than this. It almost goes in there, so I think I'll just run a drill bit through and open it up a little bit. It's either that or 3/8, which 3/8 is a little small, so I'd rather, I think I just open up this hole a small amount, and I'll use 7/16. There's a little bit of a bigger bolt, and then I don't know what size I'm going to use through the middle, but yeah, I'll drill a hole through there. I might use I think 1/2 inch might be the biggest one I have, which, I mean, it should be all right. Figure this bolt here, this is probably, I think this was about 1/2 inch, so that's what was on there. So we'll give that a try, see how that goes. This here was a curb guard, a carbide curb guard edge. The carbide was all worn off, so it was really just scrap, but I mean, it's pretty thick stuff, so I think it's about 1 inch. So yeah, I don't know how far in. I'll probably drill the center hole first, and then I'll just drill in to the center hole. That way when I tap it, it's pretty smooth and go right into the hole. And so we'll do it that. So I want to get a hole pretty straight through, so I'm going to drill the center hole out first, and then I'll probably drill these into that center hole, so I'll have a place for like the tap to go. Because I mean, I'm not going to, being with the tap, you can't, unless I have a bottoming tap, which I don't, and then I'm only going to get some of it will be tapped, and then there'll be the tapered section, so it'd be like a relief for it. Being that this drill press is kind of a toy, I wanted to check that it was running straight. It was off a little bit, so I took a square and I just had it on the deck here, and I had to square it side to side. It was fine front to back. It was just side to side was the issue. So I'm going to use a 1/2 inch bolt for the center, I might do 5/8. I have a tap for it, but I don't know if I have a drill big enough to, or the correct size to drill it to tap it, because I got some plow bolts and they're threaded all the way and they're like 5-inch long, so that would work pretty well. But like I say, I don't know if I'm gonna have a drill bit the right size. I don't think I do. So I'm gonna plan for 1/2 inch, and I might have to take a tap and then run it up the rest of the bolt to get a little more thread out of it, or I'll figure out something to do with it. But so I'm gonna tap the center hole for 1/2 inch first, and I think the final size I'm gonna be is 27/64, and then I'm going to do 7/16 bolts for the jaws on the side. I don't have the correct tap for the coarse thread, but I think I got the correct one for the fine thread, which is 25/64. So I'm going to use the fine thread on the side to kind of work with what I got. So first I'm just going to start drilling the center hole and just kind of move my way up.
That's good, man. Bobby's one will be the last one.
I don't know if you'll be able to tell on the camera, but you can see the finish. You get a really nice cut with that saw. Like, I mean, that was a grinder edge finish, but this, you get like the kind of little swirl in there, but it's actually a really smooth finish with that. With that metal saw. So I just took a run-of-the-mill 1/2 inch by 13 grade 8 bolt. Just ran a tap down it. Make a forcing screw. And I think this will work. There you go. That's the tap bolt. So when I checked for the straightness, on this to make sure that this bottom plate was straight. I had a long drill bit in there. So I had a long bit in there. I just ran this up against the side of it, and I looked for a gap between the drill bit and the little ruler here, and that's how I made sure it was straight. I think there was a little bit of a gap, so I just tapped here or here. I think it was this side, and I shifted it over so it was level. I just checked both sides, front and back. There ain't much you can do with front and back, but side to side, it did make a difference because this thing swivels for angles. So that's how I made sure that this was straight, because you don't want this coming through at an angle, because then it's going to sit like this and it's not going to pull straight. So even though it's kind of a I don't know, I guess it doesn't have to be really precision stuff, but I mean, you're better off getting it as close as possible. Makes it a little better in the outcome. So all these angles, these are all parallel with each other. So I can stick it here and then drill in, or there and drill in. So I always got a flat spot to drill up against. So I'm going to put the tap inside the drill press so I can bring it down straight. And I'm going to start these holes, if I can. It's going to be a kind of a trick. Bungee cord not included. So I got it started. I'm sticking in the vise next and finish tapping it. I guess if you had someone else to help you, you could get down and put light pressure on the drill press so you can get the tap started straight. And then you won't have to do any weird stuff like I did. One hole. So you can kind of see it taking shape. Over here. And bolt that in. And the forcing screw will go through. We'll have 3 arms. And it'll fit right in. Here's one.
Hey.
All you fellas are right here. Can someone give me a hand?
Huh?
All you guys are right here. Can someone give me a hand?
Depends, are we going to be on camera?
Yeah, yes. Shh. Hush, hush. I just need you to pull this down, put a little pressure on it so I can start this.
You're crazy.
No, I'm not going to start the thing. I'm just going to pull a little pressure. Go.
How much pressure?
This should be good. Okay. Let it up.
Good?
Yep.
That'd be $1.50, please. Did you see that Landry arena over there? Civic Center in Pittsburgh? The ice skating rink? They're turning it into a temporary mortuary.
Yeah,
Just in case shit hits the fan.
yeah.
Alright, so let's give this a try. Tight. That pat's kind of centering this, these things keep moving. I need 3 hands again. Okay, so it's working. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough throw in it though. It doesn't explode in my face. Almost. Darn it. So, I gotta stick something in there. Take up the slack. And one of these plugs from Mag Grill, those annular cutters. Stick that in there. Push against that. go. And it even worked and everything. I guess the only thing I'd have done a little different was maybe have a longer bolt. And I'll probably grind a little point to this, because this has got like a little centering point in there, and it just kind of wore into it a little bit. I mean, I don't think it did any real damage if you wanted to reuse it, but something with a little pivoting end, or like maybe like a ball bearing or something on there. I don't know. Something that spins nice would have worked better. But it is what it is. Save me some money. So, anyway, that's how you can build your cam gear puller. It didn't do any damage on the back there, so we're good there. Pulled on here, and then here and there. So, all good. So, anyway, hope they can help somebody. If not, let me know what I did wrong, and I thank you for watching.